I've often heard people say that they draw or paint or sculpt because they find it to be therapeutic. And there's something to that. In fact, art therapy is becoming an increasingly popular tool to help patients who are working to overcome serious illness or physical challenges. Take a look. Lori, as a full-time therapist, how do you use art as a therapeutic tool?
Well, at Magee, being a physical rehab, we're able to use it to help the person through their physical goals, their cognitive goals, as well as their emotional goals. For example, if somebody has had a stroke and they are working to really work on their cognitive and their physical goals, through the art therapy, we're really able to have a chance to use the creative expression as well as the actual movement of engaging in art making to help a person reach toward their goals.
So you believe art therapy is central to your patient's lifetime rehabilitation and wellness program. What are some examples of your clinical practices?
When a person has the opportunity to work with me in art therapy, they have a chance to engage in a creative self-expression, which for some people it might have been something they haven't done in a long time and they might not be too comfortable with it and they think that they can't do it. And then gradually being able to know that it's not about the end result and the product, but it's really the process of being able to express oneself again and getting back to who they are and feeling more at home with who they are even after an injury or an illness, and how they can identify with themselves after that point and knowing that there's life after that.
Describe your programs and their benefits.
I provide different drawing materials, painting materials, and we do collage as well, and some 3D materials. And so a person can, again, working with both hands, if they're working, let's say they have an affected side where they have experienced weakness, and then being able to help a person rebuild. Something as simple as really holding on to a material and how that translates to everyday life, being able to feed oneself, being able to dress oneself. The goals themselves may seem simple, but I've really tailored the art therapy program to be able to meet the physical goals and the cognitive goals as well as the emotional goals.
Do you meet as a team to discuss the best treatment for each patient?
We definitely work as a team, and being able to really meet that person's goals and make sure that the art therapy is relevant, whether it be a cognitive or physical aspect, but also if a person is experiencing a lot of anxiety or maybe depression, dealing with what they're now having to deal with their illness or injury, and how they're coping with that in life.
What kinds of patients would you say benefit most from art therapy?
The patients that we see at Magee have had either brain injuries, stroke, spinal cord injuries, and receive also general rehab for amputation. Some people have had deconditioning in illnesses such as MS or Guillain-Barré.
I talked with Linda, one of Lori's students, who came to Magee after suffering a stroke. Tell us how you got involved in art therapy.
Well, in the day rehab, which is 5 days a week I was coming here, they had music rehab and they had art and they had speech. So this was a part of my program. And then I started, being encouraged that I need to do a little bit more, maybe just expressing myself. Because I think I was having a lot of issues with accepting the stroke, putting in the stroke behind me.
Can we see some of your work and how it's helped you?
Well, this here I think was confusion and emotional. It brought back not accepting life, uncertainty in my life. And Lori taught me to write down what was going on in my mind. Oh, this one here, transition of life. As I transition from one phase of my life to the next one.
Do you do this at home, too?
Well, I'm practicing a little bit at home, but mainly I start doing it. Because of this situation, I think it pulls some things out of your life that you didn't know was there, that I'm expressing some of these problems that I'm having.
How do you feel that art therapy is helping you?
Well, just as I said, you see how emotional I can get. And then just sitting down expressing it, sometimes it makes me snap out of it. I've came a long way. Physically, I see my progress, but emotionally, I'm still working at it.
Yeah.
The one-on-one art therapy really sort of gave me the motivation that I needed.
Now, I know your patients have exhibited their work at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, Suzanne, this has actually been our first year. We partnered with the Accessible programs at the Art Museum, and it was a wonderful opportunity. We had a chance throughout our day rehab program here at the riverfront going on outings, and so we would go to the Art Museum and actually have a guided tour, and we would do artwork in response to that. And so we chose a theme, and the theme was portraits, because here we are, and we're people with stories. Having their stories told is really what the exhibit was all about.
Can you give us some examples of how art transformed or supported the healing process?
I've been so fortunate that I've worked with so many people over the 8 years that I've been here at Magee that have talked about how the art therapy has helped them release from pain, and to be able to have a moment to really just distract them from that, be able to engage in the art making process, and how that is really something that they continue with after they're a patient. And for some, that's a brand new path.
I'd love to know what interested you in the first place in going into this kind of work.
I was somebody who always did art ever since I was little, and it was a way for me. I was a very shy person growing up, and it was my kind of outlet where it really helped me kind of identify with something and know that it made me feel more confident. And I knew that I wanted to work with art in such a way that really helped a person, again, just with their self-esteem and being able to really know that they're capable of doing something. And that's really exactly the work I do at Magee, is that people tell me all the time, it really reminded me of something I can do, rather than things that have been taken away because of my injury that I can't do anymore. This gave me something I can do.
That creative spark can even ignite healing. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Thanks for exploring the arts with me. Until next time, I'm Suzanne Roberts.